Google is a very complex platform. It is very helpful if you're looking to grow your business, generate leads, generate sales. However, there are a lot of mistakes that the new person makes when starting a Google campaign. In this particular video, we're going to talk about specifically Google search. So, mistake number one, when launching a Google search campaign, automatically Google's going to give you recommendations where they want you to combine search partners, they want you to combine display network. That's a mistake. You want to avoid doing that because the search network, the way you optimize that is different than the way you optimize Google display. And usually the better traffic, better quality traffic when you start off is usually just going to be on Google search. Search partners are pretty much ads you see on other types of search engines, like maybe ask.com, things of that nature on certain different sites. So in the beginning, you want to go with what's most likely to convert, and it's going to be Google search. So that's the first mistake that you're making if you're leaving it as such and leaving them all combined. The second mistake I see a lot of advertisers using is that they don't use the right keyword match types. So in the beginning, whenever you create a Google Ads campaign for search, you want to focus on either using exact match, possibly phrase match. If you're a beginner, start with exact match because that one, while it will give you the least amount of volume, it will be more precise to the keyword that you're trying to target. What happens is when you enter your keywords as such, of course, when Google gives you recommendations, they're going to enter them as broad match, and broad match can give you the most random of searches. You may see that you spent $100, $200, got no conversions, and then you think Google search does not work for you. The reality is you're just using the wrong match type. So just as a rule of thumb, you're starting out, just start out with exact match, and that's pretty much writing the keyword and putting it in between square brackets. That way you'll get the most precise targeting for Google search in your keyword campaign. The next mistake people do is I see them not use a lot of negative keywords.
Hey, real quick before we move on to the video, if you're a CMO, if you're a business owner, and you're looking to scale your offer online, we want to invite you to jump on a strategy session with us. It's 30 minutes and it's free. We'll be able to give you analysis of your ads, present feedback on your offer right now to see if you're ready to scale or see what's missing with your offer and with different aspects of your advertising strategy, right? So we want to invite you to book a call with us. We have a link in the description. We do have done for you services as well as training in terms of YouTube ads and TikTok ads. So feel free to book a call with us and see what would be the best fit for you depending on where you're at in your business. Hope to see you soon.
Not only in Google search, it happens a lot in Google shopping as well. You may be showing up trying to promote a product, but having there are keywords lists out there that are just basic that you should be using from the beginning. For example, let's just say you're trying to promote something, sell a product. You don't want to show up for free. You don't want to show up for used. You don't want to show up for rent. So what you're doing is you're proactively stopping your ads from showing up from those keywords that have nothing to do with your product. Obviously, in the case that you are renting a product, you do want to show up for that, but then you wouldn't want to not show up for something like buy, something like sale. So those are keyword lists that exist out there, but a lot of people don't use them, but you definitely should use negative keyword targeting in your campaigns. Another mistakes I see a lot of people use. Now the way Google Ads is working, or every ad platform, it's more algorithmic, and they like to run their own little split tests. The way they can run their split tests is when you give them as many assets as possible. What do I mean by assets? Very simply, if you write a responsive search ad, you're gonna see there's an amount of headlines that you should put in, amount of descriptions that you should put in. You wanna fill in everything that you can possibly. Don't be lazy and just fill in 1 to 2. If you could do 9 headlines, fill them all in and see what happens. It's gonna give the algo more space and more time to figure out what works best for you down the road. But I see a lot of people make that mistake. Another Google advertiser mistake that I see in these campaigns are not using ad extensions. I myself have been guilty of this. So what ad extensions are, elements or things that you add to your current ad in search that make it pop up more. So for example, adding a phone number, You have snippets where you can describe the type of products. You have site links where you can send people to different pages according to that type of site link. So for example, let's just say I'm selling best cars, best new cars. That's the keyword I'm bidding on, and that's my main link. I may have a site link for best fast cars, best pickup trucks, best cars for city, things of that nature. So the key thing with these ad extensions is that they take up more real estate. So I know if you've done a Google search and you see an ad and you see a lot of things beneath it, those are the ad extensions. So more real estate means more likely someone's gonna click on your ad. On top of that, it works with Google's optimization score. Now, that's a tricky thing to play with, but the bottom line is the more things you give Google, the more likely you'll get cheaper clicks for your ad. Doesn't mean you always follow all the recommendations, but something like ad extensions, it's a simple win, and I don't see people losing money because of it. So it just makes sense to add it to a campaign. Another mistake I see a lot of people do is they don't choose their keywords properly. Now, if you go to, let's say, Google Keyword Planner, and let's just say, once again, to stick to the car example, when you're selling cars, yes, cars probably has 100 million searches a month or millions of searches a month, but that's not very specific. When you, let's just say you have an inventory of a certain type of brand of car, let's use Ford Mustang for an example, you'd better off bidding on Ford Mustang or sports cars, American muscle cars, things of that nature, as opposed to something like cars, which is so broad, but something more specific is gonna bring, while it may be less people, it may be the right people that you need that are looking for the product that you're offering. Another mistake I see a lot of advertisers make, and this could have probably been the first one, is that people don't set up conversions. Now, conversion tracking, what it is a snippet of code that you place on the page or on an event that happens right after the event that you want to happen. What does that mean? For example, let's just say you have an e-commerce site. Someone purchases a product from your site. You automatically have to purchase. What happens is you're directed to another page. That's where your code should be, because every person that buys will go to that page. Let's just say you're generating leads for a company. Someone fills out a form. They're sent to a thank you page. On that page, you should place that snippet, and that is a conversion. Now, why is conversion tracking important? As I stated earlier in the video, all of this, these ad platforms, they're using this data to better optimize things down the road. And while I won't get into the specifics of it, usually at the end of the day, you're gonna have your campaigns using automated bidding strategies with target CPA, because to take advantage of the power of Google, when you want to branch out to other advertising channels within Google, you're gonna wanna have conversions in place. So that's extremely important. On top of which, it helps you optimize. You don't know what keyword is converting if you don't have conversions set up. So you can say, hey, I have this great campaign. I spent $100 and I made 200. Maybe it's just one keyword that was generating that sale. You won't know that unless you have conversion tracking. So that's very important to implement that. And those are some of the mistakes that people make in the beginning. As a bonus, another mistake a lot of advertisers make, and it's not their fault, it isn't to every recommendation made by Google. Those things you have to take for a grain of salt. There are some good recommendations, but there are some things that are tricky. However, if you stick to these guidelines, for the most part, you'll avoid what a lot of advertisers call the Google tax. You'll avoid overspending on campaigns that you shouldn't be, and you'll be focusing on your spend on collecting the data that you need to have a profitable campaign in the long run. Now, if you want to hear some more tips on Google, ads, YouTube, so on and so forth, feel free to check out our channel. If you want to get an in-depth conversation with us and see if we can help you out, take things to the next level, feel free to click on the link and book a call.